Hello everyone. I welcome you all to this foundation course, and moreover this class is supposed to be this class was supposed to be an online class, so that is why I welcome you all from your houses or from your rooms only. And from Monday we have proper classes beginning. So today's session in the morning that has oriented you towards the civil services examination. Maybe it is with respect to pattern, or maybe it is with respect to selection process, maybe it is with respect to competition. So it has been briefed to you. Now in this session I'll be telling very important aspects of the preparation, that is the notes making part and the revision making part. I have seen the people in last 10 years that they keep on reading without any timetable. They'll be putting 10 to 12 hours a day. But if it is not consolidated, if it is not streamlined in a way, then it's of no use. Whatever the hard work that you put in your preparation, that has to yield some result. And if you align your preparation on some scientific lines, that is using science and using some techniques, it will definitely increase your efficiency with respect to revision, with respect to preparation. So in that, very important two aspects are, one is the notes making part and second one is the revision making part. So in this session we'll be dealing with how you have to make notes and how you need to revise. And this technique, whatever that I am telling, this is applicable across all the preparation. Maybe it is with respect to civil service preparation, or with respect to any competitive exam preparation, or with respect to your academic preparation also. So here we are trying to consolidate few things, like from the very bulky books to small notes, and how you have to use those notes. So that I am going to brief you. Okay, first of all, we have to understand why we have to make notes. Why we have to make notes? Like, what is the utility of it? What is the utility? Just we have to foresee the things on the exam day, then we have to plan back. If you foresee the exam day, on the exam day, let's say on preliminary exam day, in the first paper, that is in general studies paper, you will have all the subjects. And on that day, maybe your exam will be at 9:30 a.m. and what you will do from 6 to 9, maybe 6 to 9, like what you are going to do. Are you going to glance through all the books in those 3 hours? Or imagine 2 days back. Is it possible to go through all the pages in every book? It is not possible. So that is why, like, you have to foresee on that day what will happen. So according to that, like from today, what all we need to do. So basically on that day, let's say in the morning, 3 hours, you'll be having something in your mind. At the last moment, I'm going to see through these things. If you have not noted them on that day, if they are lying somewhere randomly, one is there in one book, one is there in one newspaper, one is there in one notes, one is there in one some video, like, it is not going to help you. So basically, you should have that material for those 3 hours in the morning, like, which you can revise. For that, the planning has to happen from today itself. On that day, what you are going to do. So that is how we forecast the things and start working from this day. So final aim of notes making is to get everything in few pages or in few sheets. Maybe 2 days prior to the exam or 3 hours prior to the exam. What you want to read, so that is already decided, and that should be in some pages. It should not be in some registers. It should be in pages. So first of all, we have to understand why we have to make notes? First is to summarize. If you look at the whole syllabus, like it is too vast. And the UPSC is not mentioning the topic exclusively. For example, if they mention the independence movement or freedom movement, that's it. So whatever that comes under freedom movement, that you have to read. So there is no exclusivity in the syllabus. So everything is inclusive. Just they will give one heading and you have to understand whatever that is there in that. For example, physical geography or Indian geography or for that matter world history. They will not mention certain events. They will mention the whole syllabus broadly. So that is why our preparation will get very elaborative. And whatever that comes to us or whatever somebody says or whatever that we hear, we give importance to that because we don't know what will come in the examination. That is why we'll be a bit scared and we start reading everything. Whatever that is suggested, that we start reading. But today, let's say I have read about world history from some source. Tomorrow somebody will say something and again I'll go to that source and again I'll read that. Or after finishing your world history preparation, let's say, maybe after 2 months, somebody will come and say, this notes is good or this book is good. Again you will feel like, doing that. So try to shed that attitude. Initially only we'll be telling you from where you have to pick the syllabus or like from which sources you need to read. So basically our understanding of the syllabus goes like this. The whole syllabus actually to the perfection, to the 100%, you cannot cover. There will be some bits and pieces which will be left alone. And it is highly impossible to collect everything and read. And whatever we are trying to do here, it is to around 80 to 85% perfection that we are trying to do. So here, whatever the books that we suggest, that is the sources that we suggest, it will cover the whole syllabus to the extent of 80 to 85%. We cannot promise that it will cover all the 100%. Because UPSC looks for that 10-15%, like hollowness, and that will try to target. So we can't tell that all the sources are ultimate in itself. So definitely it will cover the whole syllabus around 80 to 85%. So that is why you have to trust those sources. Let's say for one subject, if you try to refer 2 or 3 sources, 80% of the things will be overlapping only. 80% of the things will be overlapping. Other 20% will be unique to that book. Another 20% in another book, maybe that is unique to that. But if we go on covering all these things for new things, it becomes very difficult to, consolidate everything into some pages or some sheets. So that is why whatever the sources that we mention, please stick to that one source. And since you are coming to the classes, it is our prime concern and prime duty to cover all those sources for you. You cannot put time or you cannot afford to read all those books, whichever are there in the market. We are trying to cover those books for you. Before we come to class and deliver, it is not just one source that we are referring. We are referring to many sources, and finally we are coming to a conclusion like what exactly has to be given to you. So first thing is the trust factor. Trust factor in the sense whatever that we are giving in the class, that has to be taken with utmost care. You should not neglect that, because if we suggest you to do the self-study, you will refer only one book. And whatever that is coming from that book, so you will take it as prasad or that is the end. But keeping one book aside or referring that book whenever you want, that is okay. But don't make that source as the ultimate this thing. We are giving you the proper delivery of those things. So we are giving in two ways. One is we are making you write. We are making you write in the class. But there are so many redundant things which we may not dictate in the class. If we go on dictating those classes, whatever the schedule that we have put for 800 or 900 hours, that will get elongated to 2000 hours. So redundant things, we will try to give it in the shape of handouts. So we'll give you enough handouts in the whole course and will make you write also. So basically you are using two things. One is the handwritten notes. One is handwritten and second one is the handouts. And along with this, you have your standard textbooks. Standard textbooks. But these are the primary sources. And this is secondary. This is secondary. This is primary. And you need to refer to these things on daily basis. Okay? And when I come to tell you about the revision making, I'll brief you what exactly you have to do in the revision making. So to summarize, the self-study people, like those who do the self-study, they will try to read this thing and they will try to summarize. Summarize means how do they do? I'll try to give you one example. Yeah, this is the book. Yeah, this is how it is printed. So what people do in their first reading, and this is suggestive also, in their first reading, they do very fast reading, like without understanding anything, without going to the nitty-gritty of the syllabus or nitty-gritty of the details that have been given in the textbook, they will go on reading it. So first reading is kind of a blind reading. You are reading it like a storybook. You are not supposed to understand everything there. Just you have to see to it that you are knowing the chapter names, you are knowing the topics and subtopics in those chapters. So here, like this process is to get acquainted to the book. In second reading, what people do? People will underline. Whatever they are feeling that is important. Okay, whatever that is important for them, they will go on underlining in the book. Underline. In the third reading, what they will do is they will take these underlinings as some notes. Then fourth reading, they will read these notes. So here notes making in the third and in the fourth, they will read notes. From fifth, they will repeat it. Repeat means these notes only they will try to repeat. This is for the self-study people, those who try to do the self-study. Okay? If you do like this, like first is fast reading, second is underlining, third is notes making, and from fourth round, you are going to just revise whatever that you have written in the notes. But in our classes, what will happen? We are giving you this handwritten thing. It is like almost you have understood. You have understood the thing. While writing, you have listened to the class also. You have listened to the class and that particular topic has entered your head and you have understood. While writing in the notes, like you are making sure that those things are getting repeated. Whatever that you have listened in the class, like story, that is what the self-study people do in the first round. They will do it like a storybook. They will read it like a storybook. But here, you are listening to that story in the class, then you are going for the writing. So here, trust me, the first reading and second reading, what people are doing outside, that you are going to do in the class only. You are listening to the story and you are trying to make notes of the story. So that is one thing. But after you go home, you again have to sit with these things for first revision. Then you need to refer to the textbooks also. You need to refer to the textbook also. In the first, let's say, today we have around 4 hours of class. You are going to the house or your room and you are sitting with the standard textbook and the handwritten notes and the handouts for 2 more hours. For 4 hours class, you are sitting for 2 more hours and you are trying to wind it up. So this is what is called as summarize. You need to summarize everything. Otherwise, if you listen to the class like story, that story will be forgotten after 2 days. Or if I want you to repeat that story in the class itself, you can't repeat it. Because listening is different and reproducing is different. So what will happen? Like you will forget the story. And if you don't write, it will not get registered into the mind. We will only hear. It will not get registered. But while writing, it will get registered in eyes also and it will get registered in brain also. So along with listening, you have to write. And the redundant things. For these redundant things, again, in the class delivery also, there will be some briefing. Okay, this thing we are explaining like this, so please look into the handout. Maybe along with the class only, you will be marking in the handout also. Okay, this fact I have to remember. This fact I need to, explore. So that you will be doing in the class. So indirectly, you are giving care to the handouts in the class also. So handwritten notes and the handouts, you are trying to utilize it for the maximum during the class hours. And after you go home, again you are referring to those things along with one standard textbook. If we have missed something, usually that cannot happen, we must have missed those things which are not important for you to refer. You need not waste time on that. That is why we might have left that portion from that particular standard book. If you want that extra knowledge, if you want to afford extra time to that, again, note them down. Note that down, like whatever that is there in the standard textbook that is extra. Try to note it down in the particular topic and subtopic only. Try to write that. So that is why while you are doing the notes, leave some spaces. Don't write in a very thick manner. Maybe some spacing you have to leave, some side boxes you have to leave so that you can just add. So while I tell like how you have to make notes, that I will definitely tell. So first thing is, it is to summarize from your handwritten notes, handouts and the textbooks. Then to categorize what is important and what is not. See, as I told earlier, in our classes, we will be selecting only those important things which come in the examination or which is very much relevant to the examination. We'll take only those things from different sources and we will give it to you either in the form of handwritten notes or in the form of handouts. You have to trust that. And this part, to categorize what is important and what is not, this we are doing for you. If you are doing self-study, self-reading, then while you are making notes, you will come to a conclusion that I have to write this. I can't remember this every time. That is why I have to write this. Sometimes very redundant things, you will feel like, anyways, I have enough knowledge about this. I need not take it. So that is how the self-study, students will do. But here, most of the things, what is important and what is not, that we are trying to categorize with our discretion and we are delivering to you. What is important? This will either come in the handwritten notes or it will come in the handouts. What is not important, almost we will try to check it out. We'll try to delete it out from our, like reading itself. And which is not so important, which cannot be left also. There will be few things. Most of those things will be covering it in handouts. Most of the things. Okay? Even you have to just remember that I have to read these things for my like better understanding, and I have to keep it in mind that they may come in the examination. But whatever that you are writing here handwritten, that becomes very important from the prelims and mains perspective, because those are the things which are coming in the examination. Okay? Then, for the self-study people, they have to use their discretion and their caliber. Like, even if I don't write this thing from the textbook, it's okay. I can remember this at any time. So that discretion will be used by the students. That we cannot define. But when you are coming to our classes, like we can definitely tell that this is required and this is not required. You need not pay attention to this. You pay full attention to this. This thing you try to remember. So this is how we will be telling. Then, to streamline the preparation. In my experience of last 10 years, I have seen the people like doing lot of hard work. That is like daily 12, 14, 15 hours they do. But on the examination day, they fail to implement whatever that they have read. So, if we ask them the reason, you had worked so hard and yet you are not able to cross that line, why? Then the first answer they tell is, sir, there was no streamlining in my preparation. Streamlining is what? Streamlining is this. All your efforts are going towards one particular direction only. All your efforts are going towards one particular direction. And moreover, on the examination day, like you have certain things in mind and you are starting your preparation here. Okay? So basically, all this thing should get streamlined towards this day. So, from the first day, you are thinking in the manner on last day what you want from this particular. And anyways, you will be telling in the class, this handwritten notes is very important. You need to repeat this for the test, all that thing. And like this handout, like you have to remember many things from this that may come in the examination straight away. So what you are trying to do from the first day itself, you are trying to streamline your preparation towards the end thing. So that is why notes making is required. Otherwise, throughout your career, or usually throughout your preparation, your preparation will be like this. One will be going this side, one will be going this side, one will be going this side. Okay. So finally, what is required, you don't know. So that is why from the very beginning, we are trying to orient everything towards our final day. So that is why notes making is very important. Okay. Then, to shift from bulky notes or bulky books to handy sheets. Handy sheets means like sheets you can carry, right? So usually for the preliminary examination, people do change their centers also. Somebody is like writing from the place where he or she residing right now, or they will go to their hometowns, or they will take the exam centers which are very close to their houses. So that thing will happen. But definitely you will go to that place 1 week or 2 weeks before the examination. So how many books you will carry? Will you carry the whole book? And whole books you cannot carry also. It will be very heavy. Either you have to send it through a courier, or you have to make separate transportation arrangements, then you have to go. And again, go there, again you have to set your reading table, again set the reading table, and again put the books and start reading. But in this, course, it will waste nearly 1 week. 1 week of yours. You will pack everything, you will send everything, you will receive everything, and you will unpack that and start reading. But just imagine if you have only these many sheets with you as the whole syllabus. The whole syllabus is captured in these sheets. It is as good as your cloth. It is as good as your cloth. Along with your cloth, you can just push your notes and take it away wherever you want. Example, if you have taken Delhi as your center, it will just fit in your suitcase or bag, you will take that away. So that is why our whole job is to cut down on your bulkiness and make it in some sheets. And trust me, in this process, you will have enough number of sheets which you can revise on last 2 days. If you stick to those sheets only, definitely you will revise them well. Okay? And as I told earlier, finally, you have to carry some handy sheets, that is which are carryable. And if possible, what people do in their third round reading, in third round reading, what they are doing, they are noting, or they are doing the notes making from their underlinings. Whatever they have underlined, from there they are taking it to the sheets. So if possible, in your third reading in the sense, handwritten notes, handouts, then your textbook. When you are trying to take from textbook also and trying to append your notes, try to make some short synopsis kind of thing. Short synopsis kind of thing means, let's say here, this is your one sheet, one A4 paper, maybe make 2 compartments in that, and try to note down whatever that is important in a very synoptical way. Very synoptical way in the sense here you are using your discretion. What you can remember, what you can't, what is important, what is not important. So maybe like this you are doing. So if you go on doing like this, so finally your whole preparation notes, it will get reduced to only 200 pages. Only 200 pages it will get reduced to. That's it. But that has to have everything in concise manner. Concise. Okay. Again, if you look at the handouts, maybe they will come this much. Maybe if you look at our class notes, maybe they will come this much. From that, in the third reading, maybe when you are preparing for the weekly test, you will make short synopsis. Short synopsis, from this only. Let's say, this is one topic in the book. Here they have mentioned the topic, and here are some subtopics. Subtopics 5. In your sheet, what you are doing is, okay, topic 1 and subtopic 1 to 5. Maybe you are closing the whole 2 sheets here only. And rest everything is up to your memory, how you are going to produce that. If you make this synoptical notes, this synopsis, how it will help? In your prelims examination, only this section will come to your mind, or you can visualize this sheet. You can visualize this sheet and you can tick the answer there, because you are trying to match the words. You are trying to identify the right word or the wrong word, and you are trying to tick it. In mains examination, what will happen? These 5 points or these 5 subtopics, that you can write it in the examination and wind up. So this way your synoptical notes will help. And this you have to do just before your Sunday test. While you are doing the revision on daily basis, I'll tell how you have to make the revision, all that thing. On the last day, that is from Monday to Friday, you have classes. On Saturday, you are trying to do this synoptical notes, and you are trying to revise it on the last day and produce in the examination. Okay? Then, finally, to get motivation to study. See, usually what happens, when you imagine your room or your reading table, if there are so many things lying on your the table, you will not get motivation. You will feel like, how much I have to read? Kitna padna hai bhai? So, okay, leave it. I'll do it tomorrow. But if I give you only certain targets, like only these many sheets you have to read, only these many sheets you need to revise. If I tell that, so what will happen? You will get the motivation. Only these many sheets, no, only one file, no. I can easily revise. So that is the effect of notes making. So you will shift from those bulky books to the notes finally. And that to your handwritten notes or underlined notes or your synoptical notes that you are trying to do. Okay? Next, how to make notes. How to make notes. So far we have dealt with like why we have to make notes. Now we will see how to make notes. And as we suggest, it should be mostly the handwritten notes only. So usually people have like the habit of making online notes. Online notes, that is maybe like there are some things like OneNote. So like that, in MS Office also we have many things where you can cut and paste. But the cutting, pasting and the typing, actually they will not have the psychological connection with our brain. Because typing, whoever types it, matter will be the same. Font you can change maximum, but that is pre-decided. And with respect to the copy paste also, whatever that is there, that you will paste here. So basically it is not your produce. You are not producing it. It is somewhere else and you are trying to copy it. That's it. You are trying to type it, means also if I type or somebody else type, it looks the same. I can't say that this is my typing. There is no authenticity on it. So that is why we tell to write or make the handwritten notes, because our handwriting is our construct. Our construct means like we have reproduced it. We have written it. So certain way of writing, certain letters, certain type of fonts, certain type of calligraphy, that is the handwriting. So that will be very unique to us. Unique to us means like only we can write like that. And whenever you try to visualize in the examination hall, the printed book or the printed notes will not come to your mind. It is always your handwriting that will come to your mind, because it is your construct. You have constructed it. It has lot of efforts. While you are writing A or B, like you have worked so hard to learn that A and learn that B. So certainly you have a logical connection or the psychological connection with that handwriting. So it is better to do the handwritten notes only. And indirectly, it will help you to write the mains examination also. When you keep on, making notes, or if you cultivate that habit of writing, even your speed of handwriting will increase, and the beauty of your handwriting, that will also enhance, and finally you will feel good. And it has been said that 10 times reading is equal to 1 time writing. This I am hearing since last 30 years also. But I had least concern to that, how people can tell that like 10 times reading is equal to 1 time writing. It is true. And to experience that, you have to write. Then only will understand the effect of writing. So that is why people write. Most of the, people who try to build positivity in their personality, they will always try to write something. They will make notes. Okay, so it is better to make notes and connect ourselves psychological to our handwriting and produce that in the examination. Either visualizing, by visualizing in the prelims examination, or just reproducing what we had written in the notes in the mains examination. This is how it is going to help us. Then, we prefer you to use sheets, not notebooks. Because as I told, our syllabus is too vast and you don't know on which day you will learn something with respect to that topic and that subtopic. If you maintain register, what will happen? After subtopic 1, after that gets finished, you will go to subtopic 2 in the very next page only. Will you leave some pages? No. You will try to put the next subheading and start writing about it there, then and there itself. But what if some current affairs come with respect to that subject? Or somewhere you heard something about that subtopic and you want to note it down. Then what you will do? So what we'll do? Either we will try to, push that in the left out space, or like vertically we will write, or we'll try to attach some sheet to that. So why to, struggle like that? So it is better to maintain in the sheets. Take some A4 bundle and bring A4 sheets to the class, write there only. For example, if you want to add something to that subtopic, what you can do is write it in one more sheet and add next to that. That makes your process very easy. If you maintain registers, what will happen? Like you don't know how much space you require for that particular subtopic. Sometimes while we hear a lot of things in current affairs also, for example, Article 19 in fundamental rights, let's say. For the next 2 months, there are so many current affairs with respect to Article 19 and where you will accommodate in your notes. So that is why maintain it in sheets. And what will happen? Every day you need not bring your registers to the class. Come with the fresh sheets. Come with the fresh sheets, and what you can do is you can write it in those sheets and go put it in that file. It is very easy. Okay, better to maintain it in sheets rather than notebooks, because you don't know how much you need to append or how much you need to add to those notes. Okay, then topic-wise notes from both class and textbooks. So as I told, from class means the handwritten notes or the handouts, and along with textbooks. Okay, in our classes, we will be giving you the subheadings also. While we are teaching, we will give the topic, we will give the subtopic. In that subtopic, if suppose we have not covered few things, we will be using our discretion to drop that. But you feel that, that is important. You will learn it from the textbook and you will try to write it there only. In the notes only you will be trying to write. So always make the topic-wise notes and put it in the sheets. Okay, it is from handwritten notes, handouts, and the textbooks that you need to summarize. Then, integrated notes for both static and current affairs. People have this attitude that they will try to learn everything at the end. For example, current affairs. 1 year's current affairs, I'll try to do it in the end. But if you sit for only current affairs in the end, what will happen is you will not get those current affairs connected to the static subject. So on daily basis, like whatever that is covered in the class, that has to be appended with the current affairs also. And how that will happen? The current affairs coverage. This current affairs coverage, how it will happen? For example, in the first 2 weeks, you have polity classes. In those polity classes, sir will be picking up very important things from the current affairs. Maybe last 1 year, last 2 years, or last 5 years, or since independence, which all are important as far as that particular subtopic is concerned, that will be covered in the class itself. We'll be covering it in the class itself. Getting my point? Most of the things, like on daily basis, we read newspaper. We make our class pedagogy on the basis of newspaper also. Because we cannot teach very old things. We have to get ourselves upgraded on daily basis, and we will to teach that in our class. Okay. Let's say in the first 2 weeks of January, we have polity classes. Okay. In that, let's say we are covering up to fundamental duties, and we are covering up to judiciary also in the second week. What will happen when some current affairs will come after those classes? For example, in polity, if something is coming after, so after teaching, like if it comes, what to do? You will feel like only up to January 2nd week, this current affairs is enough. No, that is not enough. So what we'll do, there is dedicated current affairs classes only. Dedicated current affairs classes at the end. So in this, what we'll be doing, we will be covering all the current affairs aspects of that particular subject. So subject wise, we'll be having classes for current affairs and we'll be winding up. And along with that, we have our website called as Journals of India. journalsofindia.com. Okay. So I'll try to open that. So here if you see, like we have different sections here. So basically here in our current affairs coverage, you will get all at a place. And if you click only prelims, on daily basis, you will get more than 10-15 articles there, which are mostly oriented towards the preliminary examination. And with respect to mains, you'll be having like daily basis, on daily basis, 2 to 4 mains articles you will be having. And anyways, we will be covering most of the aspects in the class itself or in the current affairs class. And you have to use this website for your betterment. On daily basis, if you have, the target of covering this in 1 hour, so that is very good. Okay, but initially, don't try to, make yourself burdened. Just keep it simple. Take the class notes, take the handouts, revise them, and read newspaper. Though you are referring to our website, that is okay, but reading newspaper is compulsory. So every day, 1 to 1.5 hours, you will be reading newspaper. So make it as a habit. Okay, along with that, this thing is there. Then I told our website, and from this website only, we will be coming up with the monthly current affairs also. Monthly current affairs magazines. You can refer to those monthly current affairs magazine, and we are asking you to read for the test purpose also, these current affairs. Then along with that, at the end, year end, we will be giving you the subject wise not handouts, subject wise, this one will be there. The magazines only. The year roundup magazine will be there. So these many ways you can cover the current affairs. But again, we don't know like what exactly will come in the examination. Most of the things what we are dealing in the class, which are very important, they have to be concentrated first. And reading newspaper is compulsory. There is no escape from it. And third thing is referring to our website and referring to our magazines. So that is up to you. How well you take use of those things, that is up to you. But if you stick to our classes, maybe the regular classes plus current affairs classes and the Hindu newspaper, that will be more than sufficient. Okay. At the end, just before the exam, if you take the magazines and try to revise, that will be very good. Okay. Then, maintaining the sheets in respective files. Now, let's say polity classes are there. In polity class, we'll start from making the constitution. Making the constitution like pre-independence times, post-independence times, like what all the efforts that have been put to make our constitution. Then we have like union and states, then citizenship, then we have fundamental rights, then we have fundamental duties, then we have DPSPs. So like that, we have, arranged our classes. Okay, here, these classes are pertaining to polity. So whatever that you write, that has to go in the polity file. Polity file. So as I told earlier, you have to maintain it in sheets and you have to file them well. Next, how these notes are, how you have to maintain those sheets in the files. So in the paper one, you have to make separate file for history and culture, separate file for Indian society, separate file for geography. Since Indian society, many of the aspects, they will come for the mains. So that is why we are not covering in the initial days. That is maybe after your prelims examination, we'll be covering that. But geography, all the aspects will be covering. In history, the world history part will be dealt later, after your prelims examination. And post-independent India. Post-independent India, again that will be covered in the time after prelims and before the mains. Geography, all the aspects will be covered now. Polity and governance, all the aspects will be covered. International relations, few institutions are very important for prelims. Otherwise, these will be covered for mains later. Then coming to paper 3, economics whole aspect will be covered. Agriculture whole aspect will be covered. Science and technology whole aspect will be covered. Environment will be covered. Environment. But the disaster management comes only in the mains examination. But some of the aspects with respect to disasters like earthquake, volcano, you need to know something. And that is somewhere related to geography. So that we are going to cover in the prelims part also. Then coming to internal security, this is with respect to mains only, but some of the aspects will cover in will come in prelims also. Ethics purely we are covering it later. So all your notes should go to these categories. So M11, what we tell, manifest 11. So that is the 11 categories that we make. So all your notes should go to those 11 files only. And in those 11 files, you have to arrange them according to the chapters. According to the chapters. So basically, there are different files. There are different files. So totally 11 such files. In one file, your tag should be like chapter wise tag. tag 1, tag 2, tag 3, tag 4, like that. Whenever you go to that chapter, you have to cover that. And as I told earlier, it will have both static and current affairs. Whenever you come across the current affairs, again you have to go add there. So it will, finally what will make, it will streamline your preparation. We are maintaining our notes scientifically. It is not lying somewhere there. Okay, it is there in a proper shape. And whenever you want to, have a look of it, within 2 seconds you will go to the topic. Because you know where exactly is that. Otherwise, you will go on finding your bulky notes, like where it is. So that is not correct. Okay, so this is why we are pushing this notes making. Then,
history, post-independence or pre-independence should be covered now?
see, basically, as far as our history coverage is concerned for the prelims, it is mainly modern India, 1857 to 1947 mainly, or from the advent of British to 1947. Then, when it comes to ancient and medieval, it is too vast again, ancient and medieval. So that is also coming in the examination. At least 5 to 6 questions are coming from ancient and medieval. Okay. Then, with respect to world history, only mains aspects. And with respect to post-independent India, after 1947, again, that also come as question in mains. But as far as preliminary is concerned, not much is covered from 1947. If at all we are covering something from 1947, the political aspects, we are covering it in polity. Economic aspects, we are covering it in economy. So, those things. Okay. So, post-independent India as a particular discipline, you will be reading it for mains. Okay.
Now only for pre-ancient and medieval also be covered.
Yes. Now, notes making from current. This is a very big question that people have in their mind. Should we make notes from newspaper? Should we make notes from the magazines? Should we make notes from some websites? Should we make notes from some current affairs audios and videos? See, if we go on making the current affairs notes on daily basis, it will consume nearly 4 to 5 hours. I can't say that this is waste. This is not waste. But the thing is, the time allocation that we are giving to that particular thing, is it proportionate to our preparation? Is it required or not? So the question comes there. It is not about whether it is good or bad. All the pieces of knowledge, all gathering of knowledge, that is good only. But the thing is, can we afford that much time? Because we have too much thing into static only. So static and current affairs, like that will be consolidated only when you understand the static topics. If you go on taking some excerpts from the newspaper and go on collecting them without understanding the static knowledge of it, it's a waste. So that is why we have to give utmost care to the static part, especially the freshers. Give more care to static. When you understand static, the current affairs knowledge, somewhere that will get fitted into our static thing only. So as far as current affairs is concerned, don't try to make notes on daily basis. It will simply waste our time. As far as the newspaper reading is concerned, newspaper reading, like this is must. Newspaper is must. Every day 1 to 1.5 hours you have to give. With understanding, without understanding. You have to read that. But don't make notes. Why? Because in our classes, we are covering these current affairs on a daily basis only. But we are covering chapter wise. We are covering topic wise. So you need not make notes on daily basis. For example, you will have 8 articles. 2 economy articles, 1 polity article, 1 science article, 1 art and culture article, one with respect to international relations. So what that is coming in the news today, for that you may not have the proper static knowledge at all. Without knowing, for example, India-Sri Lanka relations in IR, India-Sri Lanka relation, if something comes with respect to Sri Lanka's constitution amendment, what you will understand? Without having the base of it, how will you understand? It is illogical. So that is why don't try to make the notes from the newspaper. Just read it like a story. Initially, all the 8 articles will not make any sense to you because you don't have proper basis for it. But still, make an effort to read them. One day, when the static coverage is over, the things will come to the fore and you will try to make connect with whatever that you have read and whatever that has been covered in the class. Okay? Notes making, simply it will waste time. And second thing, we are covering those classes or covering those topics in our classes, and at the end we will be consolidating all the current affairs that is required, and in our magazine also you will get the consolidated form only. Maybe from magazines, if you want to underline something, if you want to take some synopsis from magazines, and again you are putting it in that file only, the respective file. That makes sense. But daily basis, don't do this exercise because simply it will waste your time. What we require from your side is, let's say 4 hours class, 2 hours revision, another 1.5 hour for your newspaper, and if you are trying to consolidate your the optional. If you are trying to consolidate your optional, another 3 hours for optional. Another 3 hours for optional. When you have 6 hours class, that day you don't have time for your optionals. So maybe 3 hours revision and 1.5 hour newspaper. So that is the end of the matter. Okay? And again, after prelims, we'll be telling you what exactly you need to concentrate. Especially for the people who have done their optionals, at least half or more, or you have been introduced to your optional. In the initial 3 months, try to give around 2.5 to 3 hours to your optional. But for the freshers, put more time here only. While you are revising the things, maybe instead of 2 hours, give 3 hours. Maybe newspaper, you are not understanding within 1.5 hours, maybe you give extra time. But this should not lead to any kind of pressure. This should not be like the burdening thing. First is class, then is revision, then is the newspaper. Even if you are not doing or like if you miss it for let's say 15-20% and you have covered for 80% on that day, that is enough. Don't try to burden yourself with all these things. Okay, then no need to make regular notes from current affairs. This is done. Need to append the files with current affairs. Yeah. So whenever you come across something, and if you want to note something down with respect to that, if you feel like, then you have to go to that file, that section, and write it under the topic. And that too very quickly. And that too when you feel that, this I have to note down. Otherwise, don't do it. Okay? So whatever that you are doing in the current affairs, that has to get appended in the file, but not on daily basis, not on every article basis. Whenever you feel like, this is very important, I need to append it, then do it. Otherwise, in our classes, in our separate classes for current affairs, we'll be doing that for you. Okay, don't worry about that. Even when we are doing our current affairs classes with respect to those subjects. Again, the sheets that you are writing for those current affairs classes, they have to go and get fitted in the files only. Okay. Then this process will go on. This will not just end after these 6 months or this 1 year. Your static notes is like the final thing. Final thing. Whatever the current affairs that is coming on your way, you are trying to write it and put it in the sheet. So this has to be the regular process. So your notes may get thickened. Okay. So basically the current affairs appendix what you are adding, so that becomes your regular process. Okay. That will not end only at the end of the classes. After that also you are using of those notes. Then static will remain the same, but current affairs notes keep on changing. Keep on changing because sometimes in the examination suddenly one new area will come. For example, this year preliminary examination, the agriculture, science and technology questions were more. So the perception of the examination or the perception of that particular topic, that may change. So the people will start thinking that now I have to give more care to agriculture. Now I have to give more care to science and technology. So maybe the things that are associated with those subjects, so that will become very important and people try to note them down on very regular basis. So that is up to the changing times. We don't know how the dynamics of UPSC question making will change. So according to that, we'll try to adopt. But the static portion will remain the same. Static portion will remain the same. How strong are you in the static? That can be reflected in your current affairs. Just you need to make connection between that current affairs or that news to the static syllabus. That is the whole episode that we have to undergo. Then, coming to the second aspect of the today's session, that is revision making. Why we need to revise? Why we need to give care to the revision? And the people will be stressing upon this a lot. You have to revise, you have to revise, you have to revise. Try to imagine your school days. Your school days. Like whatever that happens in the class, we used to take notes. Then again, they used to give some homework on daily basis. So by the time we finish our classes and do the homework, that day would have got over. Again next day, go to class, again take some notes, again do homework, okay, over. And our energy, our focus was not much on those aspects. And when we try to revise, when the tests come, maybe the monthly test, maybe the semester wise or the term test, then only we need to revise. Just imagine that one class has happened in January and you have to revise that in June. So doesn't it appear like you are reading it for the first time? You have finished your classes in January, but you are trying to revise that in the month of June. So what will happen? Like it is good, it is new subject only. So that is why some of the psychologists have come up with some model that if we revise on that day itself, on that particular day itself, we may remember 90% of whatever that we have done on that day. If we try to revise on the same day, 90% of it we can retain. This is on daily basis. On the day one only if we revise. If you revise on day two, for example, whatever that has happened today, if you are to try or read it tomorrow, so you can retain around 50% of it. You can retain around 50% of it, not more than that. If you try to read after 1 week, so there are around 10 to 20% retention possibility. 10 to 20% retention. If you want to read after, let's say 15 days, you need not read because the retention capacity will be 0. You need not read only. Why you are making an effort to, like revise that thing? Drop it. So, imagine if you are doing one class in January and you are revising it in June, it is as good as you have forgotten everything and you are reading it afresh. So that is why here our revision has to start on daily basis. Daily. And that has to be appended on weekly basis also. Then monthly. Then finally semester wise. So if you do like this, then whatever that has been taught in the class or whatever that you have read, that will remain in your mind forever. Especially this one, the daily revision. That is most effective. That is the most effective. But you have to make sure that whatever that you have listened on that day, you are revising that on that day only. Otherwise, I have told, like the retention capacity will reduce. So it is better to give extra hours to the revision. So for 4 hours class, 2 hours of revision. For 6 hour class, 3 hours of revision. If you do this much and sleep off, that is more than enough for remembering those things. Okay, whatever that you do extra, that is maybe with respect to newspaper, maybe it is with respect to the like optional, so that is extra. But again, maybe it is the optional, maybe it is your GS. You have to revise. So at the end of each chapter, give some time to revision also. Give some time to revision. And when we are telling about the class, 4 hours class, you have to revise it in 2 hours. So that theory doesn't apply to self-reading. In self-reading, if you read it for, let's say, 50 minutes, 10 minutes you need to revise. After each chapter, like 50 minutes, one chapter, maybe after that, 10 minutes you are dedicating it for the revision. So that is how the self-study people have to do. So here, stick to this plan. 4 hours of classes means like 2 hours of revision, proper. And after that day, whatever you do it on the weekly basis, the effort that you put for that weekly basis revision, that will be very minimum. Because you have remembered so many things. And whatever the effort that you put on monthly basis, again that will reduce the burden on you. Okay? Then semester wise, I have told, you can take all the notes that you have prepared in 6 months and you can revise them at once. So that is why our plan is like this: daily, weekly, monthly and semester wise. Okay? Why we have to do the revision? Because nobody is gifted to remember everything. No person on the earth can remember everything that he has read so far, pin to pin. It is not possible. It is humanly impossible. And in this preparation, we tend to read so many things. And if you don't revise that, then it becomes very difficult. For example, ourselves. We are into this field since last 10 years. But before we come to the class, we also revise. Because here, most of the times, we, teach without seeing any book, without seeing, any notes. And most of the things we dictate. Most of the things we analyze. Most of the things we get it connected to the current affairs. Most of the things on-spot answering we have to do. So for that, the preparation has to be of top notch. So that is why we revise. If I say that I had read it 10 years back and today also I can reproduce it with the same quality, that is highly impossible. So I need to revise because the human mind is not programmed like that. So whatever that you want to do in a very focused way, with a high intensity, you need to revise. Maybe just before coming to the class, just you need to revise. So like that, Like all the human beings are tend to practice or revise. For example, even in the sports also, people do net sessions, cricket, net sessions. They are masters of one stroke. They are masters of one stroke. Nobody in the world can hit that stroke in that beautiful way. But still they practice on that because the revision is very important. Okay? Because we are not 100% perfect. We tend to, like forget some things. We tend to, like make changes. We tend to, don't be of that form. So many factors are there. That is why we have to revise. And second thing, to be in the process. To be in the process means some people have the attitude like, today the class is over. Only tomorrow morning our job will be, get resumed. So today's job is only 4 hours. And tomorrow's job is again 4 hours. So if you take it like that, it is not going to help. They are only classes. So after 6 months, it's of no use at all. If you will not remember anything. So that is why we have to be in the process on daily basis, on weekly basis, on monthly basis. So whatever that you are trying to do, you are repeating it many a times. It is as good as the air that we breathe. It is as good as the food that we take. Because air retention is for few seconds. Again we take the fresh one. Food retention for few hours. Again we take the fresh one to sustain ourselves. So like that, the classes will be coming anew. News will be coming anew. So everything on daily basis, that will be new. So we need to process. We need to process in the sense, like whatever that has happened today, we need to memorize it today itself. And we need to ingrain that thing today itself, because tomorrow we are going for the fresh thing. If you keep everything pending for the last, it's waste. Waste of money, waste of energy. So try to do it on the daily basis, because we want to be in the process. It is as good as our life processes. Maybe respiration, maybe digestion, maybe the blood circulation. It is like that only, the reading and revision part. Otherwise,
Elaborate more for daily revision, like what we exactly have to do after the class starts.
yeah, once the class gets over, you are going with the handwritten notes, you are going with the handouts, and you have one reference book. Whatever that has been covered in 4 hours of class, you are having lot of psychological connect because you have written, you have underlined, you have added few things. And just extra thing is the textbook that you are trying to read. So what you will do, you will consolidate from the handwritten, handouts, and the textbook. And finally you are putting it in the file. Understand?
After going from the class, do we have to read the reference book, the particular chapter which
Yes.
we have taught?
Yes. That too in.
Refer it with handouts and handwritten notes.
Yes.
And then add something more to it.
Yes.
And then file.
Yeah. As he said, whatever that we have taken in the handwritten notes, whatever that we have got as the handouts, plus that reference book, one reference book that we are giving. We are referring more than 4-5 books. But for you, we are keeping only one reference book. Again, you need to go and see some things which we have left. Try to take them. Or if we have covered more than that book, again, you have to take it as a superficial, because even you need to make some connect with that book also. Otherwise, you will feel like only I have read notes, only I have read notes, I have not touched the textbook. So that fear will not be there. So it is better to go through that textbook also, but superficially, because we have covered everything in depth in the class. You have to trust that. Just to have the proper, relation with that book. On the exam day, you should not feel like I have not covered the textbook. For that fear psychosis, or to get rid of that fear, you have to read the textbook. Otherwise, if you say, I will stick only to the class notes, I'll stick only to the handouts, that's fine. But again, there will be some kind of fear inside. I have not read the textbook. I need to read. So that is why. But you need to consolidate these 3 things. That is your handwritten notes, handouts, and the textbook in one file. Yeah, whatever that extra that you take, write it in the sheet and attach it. Okay. Then, to assess ourselves. For example, a person like who has done 1 week of class, 1 week of class, 1 week of classes, and that person will try to, like just sit somewhere and try to recall what all that person has done in that week. There should be something in concrete, right, to show someone. Or you will tell it to someone like, I have attended classes this week. Okay. Will somebody ask you the question from that week? No. It is for yourself only. You are trying to console yourself that, you have attended the classes, that is enough for you. But that will not do the things for you. You need to assess, like how much I have listened in the class, how much I have written, how much I have underlined, finally how much synopsis I have made. If you try to recall on this basis while you are sleeping, whether today, this day has gone satisfactorily or not. If you try to recollect that, and if your answer is yes, yeah, this has gone in a very satisfactory way, that means the job for that day is done. If you are missing something out of this, for example, attending the classes, taking out the handout notes, handwritten notes and the handouts, if you have missed anything out of this, you will feel like incomplete. And if you are incomplete for today, tomorrow again you will feel like incomplete only. The whole process, it appears incomplete only. And you are making the reasons ready for your failure already. Because you want to give some reasons, right, at the end, when you fail. You have to have certain reasons. What you will tell? No, my notes making was not proper. My revision was not proper. I did not attend the class. So you should not give any such reasons for your failure. Understand? So if you think this from the day one until your last day, and do these small things on daily basis. That is what is discipline. Discipline is what? You do the things with or without your will on daily basis or on regular basis. So that itself is discipline. So that will take you to the long way. Otherwise, just attending classes, going back, or just listening to the class, or just collecting the handouts, or taking Xerox from somebody else's notes, that will not work out. And apart from our class, apart from our notes or handouts, what people will think? They will try to buy some other material, some other Xerox notes, some other thing. When you have paid so much to us, you have to take complete use of it. If you are just coming to the class and you are buying somebody else's notes, somebody else's handwritten notes, you cannot make a connect. You can make a connect, that is psychological connect, only with your handwritten notes, nobody else's. Because you cannot visualize that handwriting at all. You can visualize your handwriting in the examination. That is why, to be in the process and to assess ourselves, what exactly I have done today. It is not for anyone, not your parents or not your siblings, no one, not for us also. For yourself you have to say, and today, I have done this much. Okay, fine, sleep off. So to assess yourself. And for that assessment, we are conducting weekly tests also. So whatever that you score on that day, on the test day, that is the reflection of what you have done throughout the week. If you have not done anything in that week, whatever that we have said, then what is the, like taking that test? Because you know, already like you have not done well in the past week, on the last day, how will you perform? So that will not happen. So,
what to do on the weekly revision on the weekends?
Yeah, I'll come to that. This is just why revision. How revision, I will tell. Okay? To gain confidence. To gain confidence, let's say, from today morning, like you have attended the classes, you have written the notes, and you have, like revised it, and you have to, like added something in your file. Tomorrow morning, when you get up, you will not be having any kind of complaint for the yesterday. It is like, yesterday's thing I have done well. Today's thing I will do it again. So like this, within 1 or 2 months, your confidence will raise. Otherwise, it will appear like, no, I have not done anything. Nothing is like coming my way. So you will start cribbing or you will start complaining. And that will finally reflect on us. Finally, what will happen? These people have not taught well. Because your discipline for this has not been well. For example, if you have cancelled any class, if you have cancelled any test, if you have not done any justice in the class, then you can complain. If we have done everything from our side, we have done the class, we have given the handout, we have conducted the test, then actually no complaint should come to us. Have we given any contract signed that we will give you the first rank? No. Even you have not given us that. It is just you have paid the fees and we have promised you certain services that we are delivering, not more than that. If there is some problem, if there is some lacunae, inefficiency in delivering those services from our side, that is the injustice that we are making. You can complain upon that. If you don't take proper use of all these things, then we are not going to take that complaint. Let's say you have done everything and even we have come to know that you have done everything, and if the results have not come, then that time also we are ready to take the blame. Because things have not worked for you. The way we had told you, those things have not worked for you. Then we are ready to take blame. But without you executing your plans very well, as we told, then it is very unfair to take the complaint on our side. Understand? Okay? Then, to consolidate, finally, consolidate means what? So many things are lying in too many places. You are trying to consolidate it. Otherwise, what will happen? Let's say, today we have 2 classes. One is geography, one is economy, let's say. If you sit with only geography, then that is also a problem. If you sit with only economy, that is also a problem. If you tell me that I will cover economy later, now I'll do geography, that is also not correct. So, whatever that you do in a day, maybe it is newspaper reading, maybe optional, maybe it is with respect to classes, all that thing, finally they have to get consolidated. Consolidated means you are gathering them in bits and pieces and you are putting it somewhere. You are putting it somewhere. That putting it somewhere is nothing but your notes and your revision. Then finally to streamline. I told what is streamline. Finally you are taking everything towards one direction. From this day to the final day, you are moving in the same direction. You are not going haphazard way. So all your effort has to come towards that streamlining. Okay. Then how revision? As I told, daily after class. If 4 hours class is there, 2 more hours you have to give it for revision. If 6 hours class is there, 3 hours you have to give it for revision. Make it a proper, like standard. Then, before weekly or fortnightly, this we don't have for this batch. Like weekly test we have. Usually you have 5 days class. One day, that means almost 1.5 days after your class, you have it for weekly revision. So in that weekly revision, whatever that has happened for 5 days, here maybe for 20 hours or 30 hours, whatever that has done for you, that you are trying to revise it in one day. On the last day, on Sunday, you are taking the test. So this is the test day, this is revision day, these are class days. 5 days class, then 1 day revision, and final day is your test. After the test, attend the discussion also. Wherever you are making mistake, try to correct that, because tests are there not to score. They are to learn. Let's say in 100 questions you make 50 errors. So that is an opportunity to correct our 50 mistakes on that day. It is not about scoring 100 out of 100. Nobody will do that. And even if you do that, we are not going to give you any big, like prize also. Okay, so it is to make mistakes and learn from those mistakes and see to it that you are not repeating that mistake again and again. Okay, fine. Then at the end, so this will go on happening for 6 months, or at least first 4.5 months. This will happen up to May 17th. It will happen. After that, you have 4 subject-wise revision tests. 4 subject-wise revision tests where you will be revising the whole syllabus. I mean, that particular subject. For example, history, art and culture once. Polity and IR once. Geography and environment once. Economy and science and technology once. So like that, we have 4 weeks. So that will make you, like understand things. So one is daily revision, second is weekly revision, and this is subject-wise revision that we are making. And finally, we have comprehensive tests. In that, you are trying to study the full syllabus. The full syllabus you are trying to cover. Okay, so if we start at Jan 4, only on June 20th, we are going to wind up. This is almost 6 months. On June 27th, you have exam. So, with this regard, the people who wants to write this year itself in 2021. So basically your optional thing, your answer writing thing should have been done. But if that has not happened, if you are fresher and you are starting your preparation only from this Monday, then what will happen? You will have a fair chance. You will have a fair chance to test yourself. Though your optional is not prepared, though your answer writing part has not happened, that is okay. At least in the form, in the UPSC form, you can tick IFOS exam. Don't tick civil service exam. Just tick IFOS and you can attend the exam. Your CSC, that is civil service exam attempt, will not be counted. It will not be counted. So you can assess yourself. Sitting in that exam hall, you can assess like how well you will perform. But again, you have not prepared for mains, that is a different story. But if you have prepared for mains, maybe it is with respect to your optional, maybe it is with respect to your answer writing part, if you are okay, then there is no problem in giving the prelims test. So our effort will be to make you comfortable even in this preliminary examination itself. But the other things like optionals and the answer writing, so that you have to decide. We don't know. Okay. So my concern is like these are the 4 types of revision that will happen for you. 4 types of revision, and that is more than enough for this preliminary examination. So this is mainly about like how you have to like make your notes, how you have to revise on daily basis, weekly basis, and how well like you have to be equipped for this preliminary examination. Okay. With respect to mains answer writing, we have one session tomorrow with respect to answer writing only. Okay. That will be applicable for both, for the players like who want to write this mains examination or the next year's examination. I'll be briefing like what exactly you have to look into the answer writing. But just to give you the hang of answer writing, what we are trying to do in our sessions is we are giving one mains question every day. In your class, we will give one mains question that you need to write. That will not be like evaluated by the faculty or someone, but the answer for that will be discussed in the class. In the class, we will be discussing that particular answer. And along with that, we will be having MCQ also. MCQ, that is multiple choice question, 5 questions that we will give on daily basis. So please make use of all these things. Okay. Along with that, please look into our website also. And if you look at our main website, that is manifestias.com. On daily basis, we are giving around 21 tasks. 21 tasks. Again, this is not very compulsory for you. In that, 10 prelims articles will be there. 10 prelims articles. 10 plus, at least 10. One mains article, minimum mains article, 1. Then 10 quiz questions will be there. 10 quiz questions. In this 10 quiz questions, 5 questions will be attached to your daily class only. Daily class, what you are taking. So that is with respect to static. And with respect to current affairs of that day, you will be getting another 5 questions. And there will be one mains question. There will be one mains question that day. These are the minimum. Here 10 plus, 1 plus, 10 plus or 1 plus, that is possible. Okay, so please make use of this thing also. And we have our Telegram channel as Manifest IAS. Anybody can join it. So there also you will get the quiz. There only you can answer. Okay, and all the current affairs related things like we'll put it there. So you can make use of the Manifest IAS channel also. Okay, so this is what I wanted to tell today with respect to notes making and revision making. If you have any particular doubt, I'll be there in the institution. Okay, you can come and talk to me. Or if you want to book an appointment and come. Or you can meet me, like physically, or you can call me also. So please make use of all these things, and whatever the effort that we are putting here, that is for your betterment. So please avail of all these benefits, and also please avail our availability also. Like we'll be available here even for the silliest doubt, for the smallest doubt. Please approach us and get your things solved. Thank you. Thank you very much.